Spotlight, coming to you live from down below Owensboro, Kentucky. Here we are in the RV studio again tonight, and it is 8:33 p.m. I think, something like that, Central Standard Time. 9:33 for you four folks over there on the East Coast, and another hot day today it was. And so exciting days we're living in. We're living in the last days. I promise you. We're living in the last days. This thing is winding down to an end. It won't be long now. Okay. And a few folks are getting on. We're going to, by the way, it's the 7th of August. I had to go look. Can't keep track of the days and weeks. It's flying by so fast. And so all right. We got upstate New York is on. Scooter P is with us. Olga's here. I believe Olga's aren't you in Florida, Miss Olga? And all right, we're going to bring you something prophetic tonight, some signs. We're going to talk about perilous times. I'm going to read a verse for you in just a second. Going to read a verse in Second Timothy chapter 3. We may or may not read the whole passage. We'll see. And we'll just give it another minute or so. Folks are getting on. Be sure that you have subscribed to the channel. Hey, happy anniversary, Mr. Van. 38 years. I want to talk to her. I want to know how she put up with you for 38 years, Brother Van. And um, well, congratulations. That's wonderful. And all right. And prayers for Mrs. Van, right? Yes, Naples, Florida. Olga is in. Esther is here. Scooter is here. I haven't seen my Minnesota person. They're usually the first one on, but I don't see them yet. All right, the crowd is growing. Make sure you have subscribed. Hit that red button. Hit the little bell if you want to get an alert when we come on. We try to come on almost every day. Pray for Esther and her mom leaving for Iowa tomorrow night. There's Minnesota, Ramona, and by the way, we've got a couple that are in the hospital. Miss Beth has got shingles, and along with that, some pneumonia. She's in the hospital. We've been praying for her. She's a great supporter of our ministry here, and we sure love them. They may be listening. I don't know. Probably not, but they may be traveling. I know she was getting sent to a different hospital, so they may be en route. I'm not sure. But all right. If you would keep praying about the RV situation, um, we need right now. We need just $3,000 is all that we need. Um, so we've already got eight. I guess 8,000 has come in. We need 3,000 more. This is our new studio for me. I'll still be going to the studio in Illinois to meet with Doc and do TV shows, but we're doing a lot of things right here, and we will also possibly interview people here too in the future. And so pray about that. Maybe you could be a help to us. You can send a check or go to the donate button, PayPal, credit cards, cash. Um, so if you'd like to talk to me, feel free to contact me, and I would be very happy to give you a call at your convenience and talk to you about the need here. Okay, and so all right, Second Timothy 3. I want to read a couple of verses to you, and got some sobering things we're going to bring you tonight. So fasten your seatbelt and get ready because we're going to hit some tough things tonight. Some things that need to be said concerning these last days and what to expect in these last days. Second Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. This know also that in the last days, when are the last days? The last days are the days right before the coming of the Lord. We are in those days now. In fact, we are at the end of those days. What does he say? This know also that in the last days perilous time shall come. What does the word perilous mean? Well, it comes from the root word peril, and you know what that is, right? Danger. Dangerous times. Hello, Miss Carolyn. Good to see you tonight on here. Um, Perilous, dangerous times shall come in the last days. Bam, got that up for you there. Um, Now that means what it says. Dangerous times. Dangerous times right before the coming of the Lord. Listen, this world's not getting better. This world's not getting better. This world's getting worse and worse. Sorry, we've had a catastrophe here. All right, I want to move this up a little. There we go. Okay, that's better. Sorry about that for you that I got dizzy just then. Okay, so we dangerous times. The world is not getting better. Have you noticed? The world's not getting better. The world is going further and further away from God. Now we've had revivals throughout the world from time to time. The most recent ones being the two great awakenings, 1700s, 1800s, big moving of God worldwide. Of course, mostly uh, Europe and America and places like that, but movings of God, great movings of God, and missionaries being sent out. And so the world would have a little reprieve, but when's the last time we've had a big revival? I mean, a revival you can register, that you can see. I mean, I'm talking about thousands of people. No, now there's been some revivals mentioned but people don't know what revival is. Revival is not a bunch of people laughing and slapping each other on the back, and that's not revival. That's not the revival of the Bible. Revival is not your church growing. That's not revival. In fact, that no, I won't say it. Carolyn says, "I'm glad you were able to get some relief at the car." Oh, she's talking to somebody else. Never mind. Um, so you people better be listening while you're talking to each other too. Or I'll give demerits tonight. Get demerits out there. So, by the way, and all joking aside, what I'm going to say tonight is important. You need to hear this. So, the world's not getting better. The world is getting worse. Every now and then, a revival would pop up, and there'd be and good things would happen. People get saved. People get right with God. But we seem to be in a place since the 1900s began where there's very few of these kind of things. Very few. All right, Miss Esther, I'll take you off the list. I won't get the marriage to you. So we seem to be in a rut here where we're getting worse and worse for the last 100 years. I'm not saying there's not some little church-wide revivals that have popped up from here and there, because there has been. But since the 1900s began, there's been very very few movings of God on a big scale. You know what I'm talking about, right? Which means the world continues to slide down the cliff towards you know what, depravity, and evil, and wickedness. Now let's just think about America for a minute. America is the Christian nation of the world. Now, boy, that's a scary thought. Have you looked around your country lately? Have you been in public? Have you been to Walmart and restaurants? Have you seen the people with tattoos all over their body that are serving your food, and piercings in their nose? And it's like we're going back to a third world nation, and we are. That's what happens when you throw God out of your nation like America has. We allowed them to throw the Bible, kick the Bible out of our schools. We allowed them to take the commandments off the wall. We allowed the world came to us and said, separation of church and state, we can't have that. And we sat back, and I mean, I wasn't there, but I'm talking about our parents now. The last generation didn't fight for it, and it slipped by. Now we're reaping the benefits of that now. Did you see the guy that was beat up by 10 teenage thugs in the capital of our country, Washington, D.C.? Did you see the three or four people that were beat almost to death? One lady, I saw the video. She was hit so hard she was knocked out before she hit the ground. Fell right on the back of her head. So wonder that lady's alive. This is what's going on in America. I'm not talking about Africa. We're not talking about somewhere in China or somewhere in Cuba. We're talking about America. And if it's bad here, what do you suppose it is like in other parts of the world? And all right, he's got a verse up there, Habakkuk. And Esther says, Brother Dan, is America in trouble because of what is happening in Texas with the Democrats leaving? Will it hurt our country? That's just a symptom. What's happening in Texas? That's a symptom of the depravity of even our politicians. And by the way, somebody put them guys in office. I realize there's a lot of fraud. There's been a lot of shenanigans for where these guys get elected, but there's a lot of people also voting for these thugs, these godless people, these people who say, I'm not a biologist, don't know the difference in a man and a woman. We've put these kind of people, and a lot of you, by the way, Christians, they say that if all the Christians would vote, we'd have revival, well, not revival, but we'd have a change in this country. Did you know a lot of Christians just sit back and don't do anything, don't go vote, they don't get involved to put the right people in their legislature so that we can have some changes and do some good things, have some good laws and clean up our country. Wake up, people of God, wake up, Christians. You've got a job to do. Some of you need to run for some political office, school board, and different things, or a legislature at your home state or something. Um, I'm trying to. He can have his Laodicean worldly church grow. I'm not sure who these guys are talking about here. Um, I'll be honest. It bugs me that you guys are having conversations in the background that have nothing, maybe nothing. Don't have conversations about something else, please. You got a prayer request, something like that. That's fine. But let's not have conversations about something else in the background while I'm talking here about something else. And keep it on topic here if you want to, please keep it on topic here, because I try to skim some of them as I go along here, and you get me sidetracked here. And in the future, if I have to, I'll cut off the I can cut off the live chat. I don't have We could cut that off, okay? And but I know a lot of you guys like to chat, and man, I'm very thankful Van puts up the scriptures for us, and never asked him to it. He just started doing it. It's wonderful. And okay, so I'm not scolding you. I'm just saying, keep it on topic if you're gonna talk in the background. Okay. Um, so is it a sign of the end time? Is what a sign? I don't. I don't believe that. I don't believe what's going on in Texas is necessarily a sign of the end time. It's a symptom of a root problem in our country. It's not just Texas. Some of you have learned for the first time that Massachusetts has no Republican legislatures. I'm not talking about federally. I'm talking about in their state legislature. It's that gerrymandering or whatever you call it, gerrymandering. I can't even say the word, but where they have. Have you seen Illinois? They've got these districts. They've changed them so that the districts include all these Democrat towns, so that they win the seats, and it's crazy. And Texas is trying to fix theirs a little better, and everyone's mad about it. These are symptoms of a moral decay in our country, in our people. And that's what that is. Okay. So perilous times shall come. I believe we're in that day right now. Look at what's going on in the country. Look at the mobs. Look at the destruction. Look at the philosophies. Look at our colleges. Gerrymandering. Thank you. I couldn't get that word. Gerrymandering. And we a lot of you start to understand that just because of what's going on in Texas. Your eyes were open. Oh, I never knew. I didn't know that. Yeah. Now, if you get an honest news reporter and they're interviewing somebody and they complain about what Texas is doing, they'll bring up, have you seen Illinois, Massachusetts, Connecticut, California? All, uh, yeah, yeah. See, they're crooked. They're crooked. So perilous times is a sign of the times right before the Lord comes back. We are there, my friend. Let me read some of this. Perilous times shall come in the last days. Okay, verse 2. From man, it goes to describe what things are going to be like. I'm going to read a bunch of these, but I want to get to something that I want to share with you tonight. That's it's going to be a little tough for some of you. And I'm not going to apologize for that. It's in the Bible. All right. For men shall be lovers of their own selves. Boy, if men are in love with themselves, that's a problem. And I don't, and men, that's men and women. I'm not talking about immorality there. I don't think he's talking about that. I think he's saying it's about me, nothing else matters. Isn't have you been out on the highways? Have you been out in traffic? People cutting you off, road rage. See, love men are lovers of their own selves. I mean, cutting people off, endangering people's lives. Your life isn't worth a buck anymore. So that's a good one. Selfies. That would fit. Lovers of their own selves. Selfies. Um, Man should be lovers of their own selves. Talking about the days right before the Lord comes back. Does this fit? Sure. Covetous. Covetous. The theme now of life is the guy with the most toys wins. That's where we are today. Covetous. We got to have the next newest car. We got to have the newest this, and we got to have what our neighbors got. Covetous. Um, Boasters. Boasters. Have you seen the people boast about what they've done, who they are, how much money they got, what their house looks like, how big their house is, what do they make at their job? Boasters. Boasting as if we did it with our own hands and God's not involved in it. Boasters. Proud. Proud. Blasphemers. That's bringing God down to our level. Some of you are guilty of that. Some of you are guilty of that. That's right, Van. The guy with the most toys still has to die and face God, and he'll still be buried in an eight by six grave there, right? Um, right next to the pauper. Disobedient to parents, unthankful, unthankful, unholy, unholy. I see it on Facebook. See, everything's out there for everybody to see now, isn't it? Everyone knows your personal life, your private life, the jokes that you put up on Facebook, the off color ones, the ones that you'd be embarrassed if Jesus was sitting in your living room and you told it. Some of the pictures you put up, some of the things you say, um, unholy. Most people are unholy, unholy. I mean, they talk like the world. I've heard Christians say bad words, cuss. So without natural affection, without natural affection, nothing natural about killing your baby. Nothing natural about shacking up with someone of the same sex. Nothing natural about it. Nothing. Nothing. I don't care what any congressman says. I don't care what science is about. Biologists try to tell us. Nothing natural about that. Truce breakers. People don't keep their word. You go borrow money at the bank. Well, I don't know. I don't really want that anymore. I'm not paying that. Truce breaker. Um, Boasting. Well, yeah, sure. It's pride, but it's 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 like taking the credit for something. Boasting about how much property you got, how big your house is, and what you've done. It's sure that's prideful. Boasting as if you did it and God didn't have anything to do with it, right? Or nobody else had anything to do with it. Like the song that I hate. I did it my way. That's a very humanistic song. what's the name of that guy that sang that? Famous Hollywood guy. I lost his name. It don't matter. Remember, you know the song "I Did It My Way." Been famous song. But you think about the words of that song. Very, very humanistic, prideful song, isn't it? All right. False accusers. I'm going to stop right there. In the last days, listen now, listen now. That's it, Frank Sinatra. Thank you. Two of you's got it there. And false accusers. Now I'm going to teach you something tonight. I'm going to teach you something tonight. False accusers is one of the things, one of the signs of the perilous times in the end time. You know, is it dangerous if somebody's false accusing people? Is that dangerous? Yes or no? Sure. You could go to jail. Falsely accused, and a jury agrees and finds you guilty on just some hearsay, because you don't know what's going to happen in court anymore. Because you've got 12 jurors, and many of them don't know the Bible. They don't understand any of it. They don't care. They hear the testimony of somebody. "Oh, that's terrible. That guy needs to go to jail." Do you know that it's true? Do you know some people get go to court, go on trial, and they're found guilty, but they're not guilty? Do you understand that happens a lot? Do you understand that people take plea bargains? Now, I think plea bargains are terrible. I don't think it ought to be allowed in our justice system, but it's there. And because it's there, lawyers come to the other lawyer and they threaten you. Say, look, your client, if he loses, he's going to get 20 years. We're offering you a deal. You plead guilty to this lesser crime, and you'll get out in 5 years. And what do? Well, you think, well, man, this doesn't look good. They're saying I did this. I didn't do it, but how am I going to defend myself and take the plea and plead guilty? Terrible. So just because you hear that somebody pleaded guilty in a court case doesn't mean they're guilty. And just because they were found guilty in a court case doesn't mean they're guilty. Is anybody listening tonight? We're talking about perilous times. When you get to a place where the just are not treated justly and they're found guilty and they're not guilty, that's dangerous. That's perilous times. We're there, aren't we? It's what he said in the know this also, in the last days perilous times shall come. We're in those times. He gives us a list of things describing why it's dangerous. Um, okay, Esther says, I falsely accuse my brother because it's easy, but it's not what God wants me to do. It's against God's word. Thank you. You're right. Um, and Van, I've thought about this myself. And it's easy to say. You and me can say that. I would never plead guilty to something I didn't do in a courtroom. That's easy to say sitting in our living room with the air conditioner. And I'm not saying, Van, that you wouldn't keep that word, but I'm telling you, you sitting in a trial for several weeks, and you're getting lambasted by the media, and you're getting lambasted by the prosecutor, and some girl has accused you of immorality, and you're sitting there and I didn't do it, but the way it's coming out, and you're looking at the jury, and they're shocked at what this girl said you did to her, and you didn't do it. And you're thinking, my goodness, and the lawyer says this is a 20-year sentence if they find you guilty. They've offered a plea bargain. What do you do? I'm not saying I don't know what I do. I'm saying it's part of our system now. It's part of the justice system. And none of us knows what we do in that situation. I mean, they're going to throw the key away. You go into the clinker, you're an innocent man. Or you make a deal. I'm pointing this out so that you realize, just because somebody has gone to jail and they were found guilty in a courtroom doesn't mean they're guilty. Are you listening tonight? I'm trying to help you. Do we have an example in the Bible of this? Do we? Is there an example in the Bible to help us with this principle? It's the Lord Jesus Christ. Was he guilty? He was put to death. But the worst death you could, I mean, hung on a cross. I mean, that's where they put the worst of the worst. They let a wicked man out and he took his place. He's not guilty. He wasn't guilty. He was found guilty and he was sentenced to death immediately. I mean, walked out immediately. He didn't get an appeal. He didn't go to a cell and wait and where he could challenge it, for 17 years. Went to the cross the same day of the trial. Found it guilty. Crucify him. Yeah, he was an innocent man sent to the God, but he was innocent. Goes to the cross. He's sentenced to death. Found guilty by the world. Now, there's other people in your world today that are also innocent that have been found guilty or they've agreed to a plea bargain to some other thing. And again, you can argue that you wouldn't do that and that's wrong. That's fine. I'm not sure that any of us knows what we would do unless we're in that place. And God help us that we don't get to that place. But I'm telling you, there are false accusers today. We just read it. In the last days, there'll be perilous times. Why? Well, a whole list of things, but one of them in the list is there'll be false accusers in the last day. A false accuser is one who accuses you of something that you did not do. False accusers. Slander comes to mind. Slandering somebody is accusing somebody of something they didn't do. But you're talking about it on your podcast or on your TV show or in the break room at work, and you're saying terrible things about somebody and they didn't do it. That's slander. And that's lying. That's falsely accusing. Um, okay. So let's see. I told you what I did. I'm not blowing smoke. I'm not saying you're blowing smoke, Van. I'm saying if you had a lawyer and you went through a court trial and you were, I mean, all this stuff, I'm not sure that you know for sure what you would do when it came down to that. But that's neither here nor there. That's got nothing to do with my message tonight. I'm talking about being falsely accused. I'm simply letting you know that everybody you hear out there that's been found guilty of something, or they pleaded a lesser charge and got a lesser sentence, does not mean those people are guilty. Now you can shake your finger at them all you want. You go, well, you shouldn't have pleaded guilty, and it doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that they're guilty. Okay, so false accusers. Let me. Something happened today. Actually, was it last night or today? I think it was last night. I posted it last night. Did anybody see my post I put up on Crossing the Spotlight? I put up a post. I did something I seldom do. I went to Grok. Grok is an AI thing like Google where you type in something and you click search and it'll bring you all answers. You can ask it a question, right? Grok. So I posted in there, why do men why do men want to dig up the past sins of people, both dead, sometimes dead people, sometimes people from 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. Carolyn saw it. It's on there. You can't miss it. There's about 30 comments or more, and a lot of people are mad. And some people came from Spencer's site. Some of you know Spencer. Well, Spencer and I do not see eye to eye on some things. He got very heated with me. He called me on the phone, asked me a question. And I told him, you're too emotional. I'm not going to talk about that with you. He got very upset with me. In fact, he posted something about me. Some of you saw it. It was a lie. It was not true. And he said, he even said some of you preachers ought to reconsider having this guy in your church. Now, he took it down the next day or 2 days. I don't know. Uh, he took it down. But it was out there. How do you take it down, right? How do you undo it? You can't undo it. It's out there. Recently, we talked for an hour and a half. We don't see eye to eye on something, but he did listen to me. We talked for an hour and a half, and I told him what I believed about some things. He told me what he believed about some things. And so some of you follow him. And um, I'll be honest, the man can really be a bully. I'm just being honest. He can be a bully. If he scours he scours the air. If he sees somebody saying something he thinks is about him, he'll get all mad. He'll say something. He'll send his minions over here. That's what just happened. Okay. So he posted something I said on his page, and therefore a bunch of his people have come over here to attack me. They've accused me of unbelievable things. Now you read what I said, and you got to ask yourself, where in that post do I get the impression that Dan Goodwin is for covering up sins? It's not there. But yet, these people coming over from his site, he's he put something on his site, and so people came over here, and they've already got an axe to grind. They're because he's got this film coming out real soon, and that's fine. He can do what he wants, but he keeps putting out these teasers, and it just drives you batty. And disclosure is coming. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay, well, don't do your film and release it. Who cares? The problem is, I already know what the film's about. I told him. I told him on the phone. I told him I could write the script for your film. I already know what you're talking about. I already know what your angle is. Um, no, I'm not going to tell you. You can watch the thing if you want. So I already know the angle. I've been involved in this since the since the early '90s. I'm serious. I'm 65 years old. I have been involved in this controversy about First Baptist Church in Hammond, Indiana. I went to college there. I sat under Jack Haas for 8 years. The greatest man of God in my lifetime. The man who had influenced more than any man dead or alive is Jack Haas. Now, you like him or love him, I don't care. But you're not going to trash him in my presence. You can go trash him on your own if you want. Um, and so I know what's coming. I've been involved in this. I've seen the attacks. He's the most hated and attacked man that's dead. He's been dead for 25 years. He's more attacked now than he was when he was alive. And now, if he was guilty of something, have at it, I guess. But I posted this thing on my page, and you can go read it for yourself. I said, I asked Grok, why do men go and search out the sins of other people? Now, get this straight now. I'm not talking about you walking down the hall in your church and you hear something and you open a door and in that room is some man messing with a young girl who's not of age. We shouldn't be messing with anybody, let alone someone that's not his wife. But if you walk in on that, if I walk in on that and some man has a 15-year-old girl, 10-year-old girl, uh, probably only one of us is coming out of that room without bloodshed. And if nothing else, I mean, you're calling 911, you're calling the police. That man is going to be arrested, or he and one of us is going to be lying on the floor. It might be me. Um, Depending on how big he is, I mean, I may have to use other means, and I have other means. But I'm serious. I would not put up with that. If a man is immoral with a young girl at the church or somewhere else, and I witness it, I'm getting involved. I promise you. I don't care how big the guy is. I'm getting involved somehow, and it'll be ugly. And I might be dead, but it'll be ugly. I fight dirty. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm simply saying I do not condone that. I do not cover that up. I do not cover up the sins of preachers, but neither do I spread it around the country. And I say neither do I. All of us have done some of that, haven't we? If we're honest, all of us have shared gossip before, right? Don't you feel dirty at the end of the day after you've been on the phone with somebody and you shared all this stuff about somebody? Don't you feel dirty when you go to bed that night? Well, don't you? Don't say you've never done it. We've all done it. We've all talked about people. Jack Hyles has his preaching has moved me more than any man dead or alive. I sat on him for 8 years plus. I was there for 8 years under his ministry, knew the man personally, heard him preach hundreds of times. I knew his heartbeat. But it's got nothing to do with my message tonight. He is part of what's coming with this film. And and I know exactly what they're going to say. I promise you I do. So now I don't know what Prophet Bradley is saying or who he is, but if that was for me, have a great life, sir, whoever you are. Uh, sure. This just happened in the last year. He's gone off on this last year or two, and he doesn't think that he's a one issue guy, but he is. This has consumed him, and this is my opinion that he's going to destroy his ministry if he has a ministry anymore, and he's going to destroy the church that he's in. Now you like that, I'll lump it. He'll watch this. You like it alone. I've been in the ministry 40 some years. Been in the ministry 40 some years. And anybody know who this guy is and what he means? Am I misunderstanding or is this guy a wacko? I'm not sure. But that's okay. We can take care of him when the time comes. Um, so so just ignore that. Okay. Um, America does not know the debt it owes over the King James Bible issue alone with Dr. Jack Hyles. And not just him, some others. And that's okay if you don't know who Jack Hyles is. He's been dead 25 years. And the problem is people are hearing stuff and they believe it without any proof. It it breaks my heart. It really does. It breaks my heart. So I posted this thing. I asked Grok the question, and Grok put out a nice big paragraph. And it all was accurate. Why do people do this? Pride or trying to destroy someone, a whole bunch of different things. I never mentioned the name in there. And suddenly this other guy posts something that he posted. He asked Grok a question to try to contradict what mine was, and there were some scriptures in his, and I confronted those scriptures. I said those scriptures have nothing to do with this topic. But I don't think he posted again, um, but that got posted on Spencer's page, and that's fine. Yeah, he can. The problem is he didn't post the context. He didn't post what I said after, and that's fine. And but his people started coming over here, and here's what I'm saying. The falsely accusing, they came on my page, and one by one, I mean, they were angry. I didn't post on his page. I never mentioned his name, yet they came over here as if I'm the enemy of his, and they said, well, you must be for pedophiles, or you must be for cover up sin if you're against him. Wait just a minute, buddy. Just a minute. How did you come to such a conclusion? Why did you accuse me of some wicked thing like that? Falsely accusing. I got falsely accused all day today by some people. I don't think I deleted any. I might have deleted one comment. I thought about deleting the whole thing, but no, I'm going to leave it there. Let him, it's his guy. So one person, I forget who they are. You can see it. they started saying bad things. They don't even know me. I don't think. They say, well, you must be for not you must be for preachers that have abused people being in the pulpit, and you must be for covering that up. And you got to be kidding me. Why would you say that? Why would you make such an accusation against somebody? And then I looked over on the corner, and there were four people who liked what he said. Do you know who one of them four people was? A preacher's wife that I know. Um, And I'm thinking, why did they like this guy's post? They know me. I've preached at the church. They know that's not true, I think. Why did they like what that guy said? Because they're defending Spencer, even at the cost of falsely accusing Dan Goodwin. I never said nothing about Spencer. I never mentioned his name on my page. Now, did what I say fit what he's doing? Evidently, it does, because he took it to mean him, and some of his people looked at it that way. I never mentioned him. Does the shoe fit? See, they're arguing that that we've got to bring this out. This is biblical. It's not biblical. It's not. Let me say it again. It is not biblical to be digging up the sins of people, present and past. Again, if you're walking down the hall and you witness a terrible act, you call the police, call 911. You stop it, whatever you got to do. But you don't start looking across the nation. People, you don't start searching for sin, do you? That's the Holy Ghost job. That ain't your job. That's why I said in one post, some of you guys ought to quit the ministry and become a policeman or detective. You want to investigate crimes? Be a detective. Go investigate crimes. But I'll give you some news here. Detectives don't randomly look for strangers and try to dig something up on them. That's not how it works. Now, I want to say something about a talebearer, because that's what's going on today. Talebearing. If you do a search from the King James Bible for the word talebearer, and by the way, this is prophecy. This is what's going to happen in the end time. We're there. Do you know, years ago, 18, 1700, 15 years ago, do you know who our enemy was? 500 years ago? You know who was our enemy? The Roman Church, the Roman political system. They'd burn us on crosses to light up the streets. They'd cut our heads off. And the enemy was false religions and political powers. Am I right? Who's our biggest enemy today? Now wait before you answer. Who is our biggest enemy today? This is going to shock you. Your enemy today is the brethren. Van, am I right? The brethren are the biggest enemies of the churches today. The brethren. It's not the Romans. It's not Catholicism. It's not the Jehovah's Witnesses. They're not bothering your church. It's the brethren. Is the head of all of the rebellion. We're bringing this on the bottom shelf here. Who is the user? What mechanism is being used to destroy the churches today? The brethren. Some preacher gets off in this fall. I could name some names. One preacher gets off on a doctrine and starts going on a crusade, and he'll start attacking other churches and preachers that don't agree with him. Just start attacking, and we're not attacking the gates of hell anymore. We're fighting each other, fighting each other. You look up the word talebearer. By the way, talebearer is is the definition is about unveiling secret things. Um, officiously, it's called in Webster's 1828, to be to to share things, to be a busybody, to affirm something that is no business or concern to yourself, um, to be aggressive in offering advice and opinion, meddlesome, unbearable with it, pushing your things on other people. See, a talebearer is not a liar. Now, it can be, but a talebearer. Well, let me read it through. Did you know how many times the word talebearer is in your Bible? Six times. Isn't that interesting? Six is the number of man. Listen, if you don't get a hold of your spirit, if you don't control your spirit, you'll be a talebearer. You'll be sharing stuff all on the phone all over the country. You know who the biggest gossips in America are? Preachers. Biggest gossips in our churches are not the women, preachers. Now, if you're a preacher listening, like it or lump it. It's true. And if you're guilty of it, get right with God. We've all been guilty of it sometimes, haven't we? The first mention of the word talebearer is in Leviticus 19. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. Neither shalt thou stand and it stops. I didn't get the whole verse. Talebearer. Proverbs 11, verse 13, a talebearer revealeth secrets. That's what a talebearer is. He's not revealing a lie. He's revealing something that someone else doesn't know about that person. He's a revealer of secrets. No, God's not happy, but every one of these verses is negative about a talebearer. Oh, but she said, Brother Good, this is different. I'm letting people know about the men who have commit immorality. Well, join the crowd, buddy. Just about everybody in the Bible did. And I'm not condoning being immoral. My goodness, what in the world? But it's not your job to broadcast to the world what Jimmy Swaggart did 20 years ago, 30, whatever it was. It's your job to broadcast. God knows about that. The Holy Ghost knows about that. His church found out about that. Discipline, things happened. Now leave it alone. Leave it alone. It's none of your business anymore. Probably wasn't your business anyway. He's not in your church. He's not your pastor. He's somebody else's pastor, and they dealt with that. Right? That's next. Whoever just posted that verse, that's next here. But Proverbs 11, a talebearer reveals secrets, but he that is of a faithful spirit concealeth the matter. Oh, my good brother, good is concealing sin. Yeah, yeah. I'll conceal all the sin I can in other people. Why do you think it betters you to shine the light on somebody else's sin? Does it make you feel better? Does that pick you up, make you look better? Is that really what this is about? When I tear down another preacher, does that kind of pick me up? My goodness, how did we get here? How did we get here? We got to hurry up. We can't be all day on this, but talebearer reveal secrets, but he that of a faithful spirit, in other words, he that reveals secrets, that's wrong. God's not for that. I think it's sin. It's gossip, isn't it? It's gossip. Why are we spreading gossip? You said, but my gossip's true. You're still a talebearer. You're shining light on somebody's sin. It's none of your business. Now, if you walk in, as I said, lest I be misunderstood here. If you witness somebody molesting somebody, you call the police, and if you can, you stop what's happening in whatever way you can. You call the police. I'm talking about trying to shine light on people's sins 10 years ago and 20 years ago. And who in the world do you think you are? God? You think you haven't sinned. And well, I haven't done what he does. You know, it may be that that man's more right with God now than you are. But talebearer. Proverbs 18:8. The words of a talebearer are as wounds. You hurt people. It doesn't necessarily mean you're hurting that person. You're hurting other people. A talebearer causes wounds. It doesn't specify who's wounded, right? And they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. They go right into the soul of a man. Proverbs 20. He that goeth about as a talebearer revealeth secrets. That's just like one we just read, verse chapter 11. Therefore, meddle not with him. Don't fellowship with that guy. Listen, don't follow people that are always telling secrets about other people and exposing somebody's sins. Now, if it's in your church and if it's a crime, call the police. Or if something's happening in your church deal with it. My church doesn't need to know about it. Is anybody listening tonight? Why does my church have to know about an immorality event in your church? They don't. Your church deals with it. He that goeth about as a talebearer revealeth secrets. Don't meddle with him. Proverbs 26:20. Where no wood is, there the fire goeth out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceaseth. You want to know why we got some strife? Because we got talebearers. That's what the Bible says, isn't it? Let's read that again. Chapter 26 of Proverbs, verse 20. Where no wood is, he's given us an analogy here. If you don't have wood, the fire's going to go out, right? You run out of wood, the fire eventually is just coals and simmers and eventually goes out, right? He's using that as an analogy, and he says, so where there is no talebearer, strife ceaseth. Talebearing does that, revealing secrets that are nobody's business. Nobody's business. Proverbs 26 again, verse 22. So he goes on in another verse here in this chapter. In case you didn't get it, he says, oh, you're exactly right, Van. You're exactly right. Brother House used to preach about it. He said some men have to always be in a battle. They just live there. They have to be there. They're not happy if they're not fighting somebody. Now, Brother House wasn't that way. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down in the most parts of the belly. That's just that's exactly this exact verse we read in Proverbs 18. Okay, so a couple things here, and then we'll be done. Proverbs 18:13. He that answereth the matter before he heareth it's falling shame unto him. Several people did that to me today. They came to a conclusion without any evidence. I'll tell you what else I heard. People hear something about somebody, and I've been on his site. Stupid thing. Sorry about that. There we go. I've been on people's sites where they mention somebody and say that guy did such and such. He's evil, and I watch the comments. Oh yeah, yeah, well, yeah, we need to block him. We need to do that. You don't even know if it's true. You don't even know what the truth is. Somebody said it, and you automatically believe it. That's wicked. That's wicked. You talk about a bunch of people and what our problem is today. We're not holy. We're not just. You have no right to believe evil upon somebody until you have proof. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it's folly and shame unto him. We're in the last days. We are our worst enemies today. We are attacking each other. We are shining the light on people's sins. That's none of our business. None of our business. Now, if you know of somebody who's a pedophile, call the police, for goodness sakes. Call the police. The truth is, some of the people you're thinking of right now, I've heard about these people here, and they've done terrible things. You don't know that. You don't know that. Have you got evidence? You could walk in a courtroom or a police station and say, this guy did this. Here's why. Here's the proof. You ain't got proof. You heard it on the telephone or you saw it on somebody's Facebook page. And see what's happening to us today? We're unjustly destroying men's ministries over gossip and talebearing. And it's got to stop. It's got to stop. But it's not going to stop because it's exciting for people. And they get big and then they get a following. And remember the National Enquirer? Anybody ever read that? I've never read a National Enquirer in my life. I've seen them. I don't even know if it's still out there, but it used to be because I'm old. Used to be at the checkout at a store. There it would be, and it'd be Princess so and so, some scandal, and you knew it wasn't true. You knew that those most of that stuff was lies. It was attention getters. That's what I'm seeing today. I'm seeing these headlines. I'm seeing these headlines, oh, blah, 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 to draw people in and get them excited. Sensationalism. God deliver. I hate it. I hate it. God deliver us from this. We've become the National Enquirer, the Baptist, the Christian National Enquirer. That's what we've become. Why has our ministries got to become shining the light on people's sins throughout history? Where in the Bible is that our cause? We're supposed to be binding up people's wounds and helping them get out of sin and preaching the truth. What's happened to us? We've become talebearers. Don't you be a talebearer. By the way, the Bible says Satan is the accuser of the brethren. Did you know it didn't say he's the false accuser of the brethren? Because he's not. Satan's not dumb. He's not going to try to falsely accuse somebody before the throne of God. He knows better than that. When somebody does something, he's up. Hey, God, do you see that? Do you see what Van just did? God, you're not going to use me. I'm going to use Van. And listen, I don't hate anybody, my Baptist brethren, but we've got a problem today, and I don't know where this is going to end. But we're in the last days, and just buckle up. And it's very painful to get false accused. Very painful. Very painful. Don't be guilty of accusing somebody of something that you can't prove. Don't do that. And quit believing everything you hear out there. You know, the famous quote, don't believe everything you see on the internet. Signed, Abraham Lincoln. That's funny, but it's true, isn't it? Do you know that a lie is easier to believe than the truth? A lie is easier to believe than the truth. Why do we want to live in this filth? Why do we want, and by the way, let me make a statement here. I do not believe this statement I keep hearing that the independent Baptists are the worst immoral fornicators of all the churches. I believe that's a lie. I believe it's a lie. I told that to Spencer in our hour and a half conversation. I told him that. I don't know who's spreading that, but it is a lie. Every church has people who are immoral because they're filled with humans. They're filled with sinners, saved sinners and lost sinners. And you're going to have it in every institution. It's going to happen. Now, I think there's safeguards we can take to try to minimize it and try to keep it. I mean, we got to have some wisdom here. We got to have some accountability. Can't have people alone in an office. Can't have a lady and the preacher in an office with the door shut. That's ridiculous. And we got to wake up. You're not as tough as you think you are. Joseph had to run. Not very many of you guys could run. Not many of us would have the ability to run from something like that. Okay, I got more I want to say, but I'm going to stop right there. Spencer's not my enemy. In fact, I was on his show. I brought him out and interviewed him at Prophecy in the Spotlight several years back. This little spat between he and I started, I don't know, a few months ago, 6 months ago, I don't know. And he initiated it with a phone call to me asking me a question. And that's they went downhill from there. And I wish this would end, but I can't sit back and let people that I know from the past be tarnished without speaking up. I hope you wouldn't either. If you had a pastor 20 years ago and you believe he's being falsely accused of something, would you say something? I hope you would. I hope you would. Put up some proof or shut up. You're trashing somebody. And there's other issues here, that we differ on. It doesn't matter. Everybody differs on some things, but there's some things that cross the line. And okay, so perilous times are here. These are dangerous times, and I'm telling you, some of the danger is what's going on in the midst of our churches. It seems like some of our biggest enemies now, and what's destroying us, is brethren attacking the brethren. Again, I'm not talking about covering up sin. I don't know anybody that's for covering up some guy's crime that he's commit with a girl. I don't know anybody. I'm sure there are some. I'm sure there's some preachers that have covered that up, but I don't know any. And by the way, I don't want to know any. Don't send me one. Well, brother, good. This guy. How do you know? You were there. I mean, you got evidence you could present to a courtroom. No, you don't. You heard it somewhere. I don't need to hear it. I don't need you to try to shove something down my throat. Well, I'm telling you, this is what this guy did, and here's why. Were you there? Did you witness it? Are you an eyewitness? No, you heard it on the phone from somebody, or you read it on Facebook. I'm not interested in that. Now the guy may be guilty, but why do I need to know about it? I mean, especially if he's dead. Why do I need to take my mind and leave what I'm doing? I'm building a wall here. I'm Nehemiah. I've got a work to do, and I don't need to go off and shine the light on somebody's adulterous affair that he had 10 years ago. Are you listening tonight? Why am I so evil for saying this? But a bunch of people, cultish, from another site, it's so cultish. Anyone that disagrees with anything that he says, they trash you. You got to go to hell for it. It's ridiculous. It's going to destroy churches will be destroyed over this. I promise you. All right, we've gone on long enough here. We still got a good crowd. Let me see real quick. Let's see. Hey, I dated a Methodist girl in Bible college, at a Baptist Bible college, and I didn't marry that girl, but she's a good girl. I still know I know right where she is. And there was some good old fashioned Methodists down south years ago. I don't know if any of them exist today, but let me see if there's anything I missed here in the comments. Let's see. Singles is not fun. All right. Esther said a church member had knee surgery today. All right. And I warned you this would be a little tough today, but things are going to be tough in the last days. How do I know? The Bible says so. In the last days, perilous times shall come. And we're there. Let's see. Let's see. Perilous times on the live stream. Yep. And we'll get hated for this. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to stand for the truth, and I'm going to stand against people tail bearing. And so I got to give any demerits to anybody tonight. see. Independent Baptist pastor said that tattoos and long hair are gray areas in the Bible. That's his opinion. He's a pastor. He's got a flock. Um, I don't believe a tattoo is a gray area at all. I believe I could show you in the Bible about not putting markings on your body, and I'll tell you what would end that conversation. Would he be okay if a girl in his church, a teenager, had tattoos all over her body? I mean, her whole face. Would he be okay with that? I bet he'd say, "Well, that's extreme." So where's the line? Where's the cutoff line? Where do you draw the line? How many tattoos are bad? And listen, God created us in His image. Tattoos is about taking us, removing us from the likeness of God. And it used to be sailors, and I was one of them. And it's shocking, the women now. Almost everybody on the news that you see, you'll see a tattoo on them somewhere. It's a shame what's happened, but we threw God out, and so this is what happens when you throw God out. Would I argue with that pastor, or would I send him a nasty note? No, it's none of my business. If he's a pastor and he's real and he's saved, it's none of my business what he does in his church, unless he commits immorality or something like that, and I'll call 911. Did that help? Now, if I'm in that church and a pastor said that, I'd probably be looking for another church. I wouldn't cause him any trouble, but I don't think that uh, I don't think that I'd want to. I think he'd be wrong on some other things, is what I'm saying. If you don't understand that, because modesty that would come up too. He would say that you probably have a difference of opinion on modestly dressing and what nakedness is and all that. I've written about some of these things, by the way. In my Seven Laws of Bible Study book, there's a pretty good little study in there on nakedness. Some of you ought to read that. And let's see. Hope I'm near the end here. Man, you guys, so many comments. I'm losing my voice. I think it's because that fan is blowing at me over there. It's killing me. Let's see. Anyway, yeah, Carolyn knows what I'm talking about. I've lost friends. I've lost churches that I'll probably never be in again, and some dear people that I know. And so, who's this Prophet Bradley? I mean, is he? I don't understand. Is he slamming me, or am I missing something? Oh, Brother Bill, great man. I love Brother Bill, but I have not heard from Brother Bill since this started between me and Spencer. When Spencer asked me that question, all I can figure is, I guess Brother Bill is throwing me under the bus too. I thought he was my friend. I don't know. I wished he'd give me a call, but 4 years saved, Esther says. Wonderful. Van's been saved for 48 years. And by the way, Grok is Grok. Grok. And I think it might be an Elon Musk thing. Yeah. By the way, Spencer's got some good stuff on music and some other things. But I can't watch him anymore. Uh, I don't want anything to do with it. Let's see. And he should have stayed out of this today. He should have minded his business and done his thing, but he chose to send his hoodlums over here. Okay, almost done. I hope here. How long before Jesus comes back? I think it's another year, but could be tonight. Could be this fall. I've got a date next year, 2026. It looks good. I'll be sharing that with you very soon in a PowerPoint. Yeah, clickbait. Yeah. And by the way, every click is money. You know that, right? These guys are making a living, a good living, off your clicks on their pages. And I'm not, oh, if you bite and devour one another. Brother, Dan, how long do you think before Jesus comes back? Okay, I think she's just repeating it, but I answered it, I think. And again, I don't know. I've got a guess based on the puzzle pieces that I have. Next year looks awfully good, but who knows? I try not to question, Dan. I try not to question people's salvation unless they actually come out and say something that is obviously they think they're living good enough or something. I'm telling you, Christian people, God's people, can do some wicked things. I mean, you just look in the Bible. What some of God's people did. Look what David did. If David was in our day, these guys they'd be destroying him. They'd literally destroy him. He couldn't pass an offering plate. He couldn't pass out a track on the street. You know, God's people can live worse than lost people. And by the way, a lot of these guys are wrong on repentance. I'm going to be putting out a booklet on that soon. Robin was here late. Okay, I think I'm trying to get done here. I'm just looking through the comments, see if there's anything I gotta do here. Anybody know who that guy is that I was asking about? That commented? I mean, I don't know if I'm misunderstanding or is he slamming me about something? I don't know. But that's okay. Get in line. Get in line. Listen, if you're not being attacked by somebody, if you're not getting, you're probably not doing anything for God, right? And Scooter, about Brother Bill, I don't know. I love Brother Bill. I was going to have him on my TV show, and then this all happened, and I don't know. I don't know who some of my friends are anymore. I lost some good friends over this, and see. Well, there's no neutral. There's no neutral here, friends. No neutral in this. Let's see. All right, Van says that guy was slamming me, and Esther reported him. So I uh, I never saw the guy. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's from over there or if he's just some guy that wandered in. Um, I don't know, and I don't want to take the time to go find him now, and because maybe I can hide. Maybe I can stop him from posting from here, but I'm not sure. I'll do that later. Listen, it's been fun in a way, but it's been a tough show tonight. Um, but I promise you, I will sleep good tonight. My conscience is clear. I know what I believe. I know why I believe it, and I believe I'm right. And so, but this is last day stuff. This is prophecy. This in the last days, false accusers is part of the list. Don't be guilty of it. All of us got to fight this. All of us, we make judges. We hear something about someone and we make a judgment. It's hard not to, but you got to fight that. You can't judge somebody as guilty until you know and you've got the facts to prove it. You gotta rise up and be a mature Christian. And I'm a guy that's going to stand for the guy that people don't have proof of. It doesn't mean he's innocent, but I'm going to stand for the guy until I can't. And I hope, and I would hope people would do that for me, but they didn't today. They came on and because there's a rift between me and Spencer, automatically they think I'm for covering up men who mess with 15-year-old girls. It's ridiculous. Why would you think such a thing about a brother? Jesus is coming, Ladybug. He's coming and he's coming soon. He's going to set the standard. He's going to put an end to all this garbage. And he's going to rule with the rod of iron from Jerusalem. And man, oh man, it's coming and it's coming soon. I want to be on the right side. I want to be doing right. I want to be living for God. I want to be righteous and I want to judge righteous judgment and have him find me like that when he comes. I hope you are the same. All right. God bless. Keep your eyes on them skies.